Earlier we were asking for your emails if you had a question, a law question that you needed some help with, and now we have Genevieve Chang with us and Brian Higgins. You are both with LSLAP. What does that stand for again?
It's the Law Students Legal Advice Program.
Okay, and that's out at UBC,
yes.
Right? So we did get quite a few emails here, so we're going to get right into them. Now, first of all, Brian, I was teasing Genevieve, saying she's not going to be tested on any of these answers. She's
Absolutely
not going to get a mark,
not.
is she?
Absolutely not.
You're going to be good to her?
Absolutely I am.
Okay.
I won't even interrupt.
Really? So
No,
so then you're here, what, strictly to supervise her answers?
No, I'm here for my face value, I guess.
Okay, so unless she gives egregiously incorrect information, you're not going to step in.
Absolutely.
Brian's here for moral support.
Oh, moral support.
He's hand-holding.
Okay. All right, so here we go. Here's our first email from Michelle. Hello, BT. I'm just going through a separation with my husband, and we are still on good terms, so I have a few questions. Can we write up our own agreements and have the courts recognize these? Also, can we share a lawyer to save money?
Well, about the separation agreement, yes, it is possible for you to write your own separation agreement, but I guess if you want to come at it from a legal aspect, you generally just for better protection, because unfortunately, you know, as great as all relationships are, as great as they are now, things can always change, or situations can always change.
Right.
And it's really best, depending on the complexity of the issues, for example, custody and, you know, assets, it's always best if you go to the family court, maybe just to get it registered, have an order. And as for sharing a lawyer, I do believe that you can do that.
Okay.
If it's an uncontested divorce, Simi, parties can share a lawyer and do a joint application for the divorce, which is oftentimes separated from the corollary issues, which, as Genevieve says, is custody, access, and maintenance.
Right, okay. All right, that's good. Thank you. Okay, we have another one here. I live in a co-op, and the board is trying to evict someone who has lived here for 22 years, and we have just found out they have no way to appeal. So is there any advice for them? What can they do?
Well, co-ops are generally a little bit tougher because they aren't kind of governed by the usual Residential Tenancy Act, whereas the landlords and tenants and have their whole appeal section. However, it is possible. There is a kind of Cooperative Association Act, so there is kind of some legislation that looks after co-ops, and housing co-ops are kind of a part of that. And I think there is a way to do an arbitration. You can apply for an arbitration in that way. So there's possible remedy. You probably want to consult somebody or come to see one of the students to see, you know, people who are more familiar with the legislation.
Right. Is this the way this process generally works, O'Brien? Like, as part of the program that you guys have, is that people can come to you and ask these kinds of questions?
Oh, yes. The program operates 20 or more clinics throughout the Lower Mainland, and that's where the students meet clients, and then the students bring the matters that the clients bring to them back to the school to do some research,
right,
and then consult with the supervising lawyers. I'm one supervising lawyer, and we have Joni Wharton, who supervises the family law files. So,
right.
Yeah.
So this is not in lieu of a lawyer. This is perhaps before you go to get one, or finding out what you should be doing. Right?
Well, no, we actually see 4,000 clients a year, and we actually represent clients, provided it's in areas of the law we can do.
Right.
As law students, we cannot go to Supreme Court, so we're pretty restricted to provincial court.
But there are some things that you can help with.
Oh, absolutely there are.
Another email here. Good morning. I just bought a new car from a dealer, but I'm having second thoughts. How much time do I have to change my mind?
Oh, that's usually it's a pretty tight window. I think under the Business and Business Practices and Consumer Protection Act, I think you're entitled to 7 days. So it's a really short window, and generally any request must be done in writing. So kind of act on it as soon as possible, I would say.
Right. So you can put it in writing and say, I've changed my mind and I want to terminate the agreement, and then you take it back to the dealership? Is that how that works?
You can try that, yeah. Generally, definitely have it within writing and do it as soon as possible. The longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes with anything, really.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, I need some help on evicting a tenant. My sister-in-law's mother passed away, left her house to her eldest daughter. Her brother continues to live in the house in spite of being asked to move many times. He states that because it was the family home, we can't get him out. He pays no rent or utilities. It's come to the point that she is staying with other family, and we need to get this fixed soon. Now, is there any recourse for that?
Oh, that's a tough situation, because it's not your average landlord-tenant, right? I would say that that's definitely something you want to talk to a lawyer about, a professional, because they're probably dealing about some stuff about the will and really the executor of the will, because the brother could potentially bring a claim saying that, I have some sort of rights here as one of the children, to the house. So yeah, that's definitely something you want a professional to look at.
Okay. There's clearly more going on there than we actually know about.
There always is.
Yeah, I can imagine that too. It's like that there's 3 sides to every story, right?
Absolutely.
All right, very quickly, I'm going to be going on a long trip this summer for the very first time. I'll be traveling to some distant countries, and I'm nervous. If I have an emergency while I am traveling, can I get some help from the Canadian government wherever I am?
Okay, this is not really particularly a legal issue, I don't think, but just kind of general tips for traveling. Best thing is keep your documentation. Always keep copies of it locally, right? Should you have any emergency. I guess this is really just travel best practices. Right. If you're really concerned, check to see, identify where the Canadian consulates are beforehand, and I guess as a matter of with laws, just understand that in your different country, you are their guest. You are bound by their laws, or whatever it is. So, kind of respect them and just understand that what is normal here is not necessarily what's normal there. So.
Be a good guest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your help this morning. And for any more information about the program, you can check out our website, citytv.com/BT Vancouver 927. You're watching Breakfast Television.